G'day there guys, can't sleep at night because I think of all the embarrassing things I did in high school, primary school, after school, yesterday. It's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. Now if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, try not to cringe, and have a bloody good time. Thank you. Posted by user Throwaway AmiTheA Wifey. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not siding with the other wives? Obligatory throwaway because I don't want this tied to my main account. Background. I've been with my husband for 6 years total, married for 2. We have no children and do not plan to. My 27 female husband, 32 male, has a group of guys that he's been friends with since elementary school. After college, they all moved back to the same area, and several of them rented a house together until they started getting girlfriends and moving out. After they moved out, they still had guys' night nearly every Friday until the pandemic happened. They started back up a few months ago after the restrictions in our area relaxed, and the majority of the guys started getting tested regularly because of their jobs. There is one single guy, let's call him B, left in the group, and they meet at his house and hang out in the carport to drink a few beers and just shoot the crap. I've never had a problem with my husband, W, going to guys' night. He gets off work at 5 and is usually home no later than 8 every Friday. He never drives home drunk, and if he ever does have a few too many, I don't mind going to pick him up. I feel like I should note that we live the farthest away from B's house, about 15 minutes. All the other guys live within walking distance of B. Usually I bake cookies or other snacks for him to take with him to share with the guys. I also don't mind driving the other guys home if needed. If we have plans or anything, he doesn't go. Since the guys' night has resumed, the other wives have been complaining about it. We're friendly, but none of us are really good friends like our husbands are. We've tried to have a girls' night while the guys have their night, but most of them have kids and we really don't have anything in common outside of our husbands. It was just awkward. One of the guys, A, is married to F, and they have a 1-year-old baby. F has been particularly vocal about not wanting A to be out every Friday, as she wants help at home. The other wives backed her up and started a group chat asking that we present a united front to cancel guys' night. Here's where I may be the a-hole. I refuse to side with them. It gives me time to unwind after work, and it's become part of my routine. So when the other wives told their husbands that they didn't want guys' night to happen anymore, I told W that I didn't feel the same way, and he should keep going. He enjoys it, and he should get to see his friends regularly. So after the confrontation, the other guys started in with, "Why can't you be cool like W's wife?" Or, "She lets him go, she even makes us cookies and picks him up, etc." A apparently made the comment, "I wish I was still single like B. He can do whatever he wants and I miss that." All the other wives are pissed at me, saying if we had been a united front like they planned, guys' night would either be cancelled or a less frequent occurrence, once a month. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. Some info to clear up some assumptions I'm seeing in the comments. All the wives work. I do not know if the mums get nights to themselves like the guys do. I do not know the details of their family dynamics. I do know all the wives have tried to have girls' night amongst ourselves, and it didn't work because we have nothing in common. I'm pretty sure all the wives have other friends, but I don't know when and how often they do things outside of the home. I send cookies and treats because I make them for my blog, not just to make them for the guys. I did not respond to the original messages in the group chat. I found out that the wives confronted the guys via my husband. I guess for this one, obviously it fits your schedule and that's cool for you, and it doesn't fit the other wives' schedules and it's not cool for them. So yeah, it's just a confliction of ideologies here. I'm sure the other wives can reason to themselves that the husband's being out for 2 or 3 hours every Friday, really doesn't gel with their lifestyle, but looking at it from an outsider's perspective, that just seems like a completely normal thing for guys to be doing. You already spend 8 or 9 hours a day at work, sometimes 10, out of the house, not helping out. I don't think another 2 or 3 hours, knowing you're going to be home by 8 PM to help out afterwards, is really going to screw over your life all that much. That's my perspective on it, and I wouldn't want to break up guys' nights if it's keeping them together and keeping a sense of community going. That's just a routine that's lovely to see, and it's not too common in today's society. Or at least not in my immediate experience. I don't experience things like that. I keep seeing posts on Reddit about people being lonely and not having any friends and always asking, where do I go to find friends? And it's always hobbies. So why not make, a hobby 3 hours a week for yourself? It's always good to just have a united group of friends to talk to, I imagine. A lot of people get help that way and they de-stress. OP even said he doesn't go when they have something else on. I feel like that's fair enough. So for this, I don't see a justification for the other wives wanting to shut it down entirely. So I'm gonna go with not the a-hole OP. Jokey haha says, not the a-hole, the wives are a-holes and the other guys are a-holes. But this is also coming after being together for 25 years. Back when we had little ones, I likely would have understood the wife's position more. Weekly might be a bit much. Why not every other week or a once a month as a compromise? I'd agree if it was a late night finish, but when the guy who lives the furthest distance is home by 8 PM at the latest, I think weekly should be fine. It's not so much the distance as it is they're shirking their parenting duties to their respective wives every week. While the wives are stuck doing both hers and his duties, the husbands get to kick back and relax. A compromise could be the kids go with the husbands 2 of the 4 weeks, giving the wives a chance to actually relax. Heck, it could be a rotational whoever hosts also watches the kids. Alone. His wife doesn't help with this. Or all the guys rotate through the night. Yes, they're back by 8, which is generally bedtime or later for very little kids. Maybe they get back in time for a bedtime story, but any homework, dinner, bath, etc. has already been taken care of by them. I don't really need my husband home for just the company, though I love spending time with him. It's the practical extra work that falls to whoever is home that would bug me about this situation. Willow Girl says, not the a-hole, but I don't necessarily think the wives are being a-holes either. Unless the ones with kids are getting a night off as well, I totally see where they're coming from, and their husbands saying all that crap is just messed up. They're the real a-holes here. And OP replies, I'm not sure if they get nights off or what. I think some of them may be involved in different activities, but I don't know what the childcare situation looks like. And their childcare situation is not really your problem, OP. If their husbands aren't pulling their weight at home, that's not the guy's night's fault. Not everyone has to go every time. I've got kids. I can totally see how the guy with a 1-year-old might not make it every week. But that's his responsibility, and he needs to give his wife time off too. But that's on their relationships, not you. And as others have said, the guys are being a-holes too by chatting crap to their wives and putting it on you. I'm guessing the wives aren't getting the support from their partners that they deserve, and the guys are being a-holes. But again, not your problem. The guys likely need to wise up. There might be a wife or 2 that need to take a chill pill, but it's more often a foot-dragging hubby. Male A needs to stand up for himself and do right by his kid, and skip on some guys' nights to take care of his kid. Everyone else can still hang out when they want, or even cancel for him. But he's definitely the ass here, not the a-hole. Guy's night for 3 hours a week shouldn't be an issue in my opinion. He needs to make sure his wife has reciprocal time to herself and they have time together, but time weekly with friends is a healthy thing. I'm with you. I get a little frustrated by this stuck in a box thinking that certain things have to be certain ways. 3 hours a week with friends away from family is not only fine, but healthy, as you said. If his wife doesn't get the same opportunity, that's a problem. If he's skipping out on other family responsibilities the rest of the week, that's a problem. And in the post, OP puts an edit too. Wow, I logged back on this morning and I was completely overwhelmed. This got way more attention than I was expecting. Thank you for the awards. I've never gotten Reddit awards before. I showed this to my husband over breakfast this morning, and his initial response was, so does this mean you're Reddit famous? Lol. But we agreed to read through the comments together tonight and try and come up with a solution to help ease some tension in his friend group. Thank you for all your input, and apologies if I don't respond to your messages and comments. I have a busy workday, and like I said, I was completely overwhelmed by the response. And now on to the update. A lot has happened in the last 3 weeks, but I'm going to try to condense it for the character limit. After reading all the replies together, W and I decided it would be best for him to confront his friends, particularly A. He told them it wasn't cool to try to throw me under the bus with their wives, and that their wives, especially the ones with kids, need and deserve time to themselves too. According to the guys, all the wives are getting time to themselves without the kids each week, with A's and F wife getting most time out of anyone. She works until 4, but doesn't pick up their baby until 7 every day. She has a workout class 3 times a week, and a standing girls' night every Wednesday, where she doesn't come home until 10 to 11 p.m. A picks up the baby on Wednesdays. W and I held a brief, socially distanced get-together in our yard to clear the air. I confirmed what the guys had said about the wives getting time, and the wives admitted that they do, whether it's manicures, gym time, book club, etc. That's when I found out about F's social schedule. They then confirmed that all the guys were attentive and involved dads. W later told me he was sure his friends weren't complete shitbags, but was glad to have the reassurance. Then it erupted into a fight between A and F, with A saying he only gets 1 hour a week to himself since he gets off at 7 and is home by 8. F broke down and started screaming that it wasn't the time spent with his friends, but his comments the following days. She then turned on me, literally pointed and screamed that it was my fault, that during the lockdown for the first time in over 5 years, she didn't have to listen to A talk about me all effing weekend. I was shell-shocked and didn't know what to say. But W jumped in and told her she could not talk to me like that, and she should probably leave before she said something she couldn't take back. F left and A stayed. Afterwards, the other wives admitted they only agreed to the ultimatum after F relentlessly persuaded and pushed them into it. I have never seen this side of F before, so I had no idea she could be like this. A has been sleeping at B's house for almost 2 weeks now. He's still been picking up and spending time with the baby, but he doesn't sleep at his house. He says they're going to try therapy, and if that doesn't work, they'll probably separate. As much as I dislike the guy, I feel bad for him. Guys' night has resumed. I still send cookies, but W says he doesn't bring me up and shuts the guys down if they try to talk about me. Dang. Sounds like that marriage was over. But it's still not your fault. I think you sound like the convenient excuse F has to pick a fight. This. F also sounds like a relentless bully. The wives were happy in their marriage, and the division was fair. Instead of working on their issues, she wound up pushing her friends? Is she really their friend if she pulls this crap? To do something that would have breeded resentment in their own marriages. She also seems to be hyperbolic about things, and views everything as an attack that requires a full-on social attack. But it wasn't fair in A and F's case. He only got 1 hour at a guy's night, and she apparently had an extensive social calendar that including a standing 7 to 11 girls' night. She's a selfish, jealous churl. I read a lot of the conclusions made by the top commenters on the first post. They all had the men pegged as a-holes not doing their bit, simply because they're men. It infuriates me when I see women who project their situation on other people. We are not all a-holes who don't do any work at home. Some of us do as much or more. I know many men do their fair share. My husband does. Still, reading the original story, I saw 2 possible interpretations. 1, the women were all lying, unreasonable domestic tyrants, or 2, the men don't pull their weight. In my experience, 2 is much more common. Plus, the men's whining about OP being so much cooler usually indicates a-holes, so that was just the more probable interpretation, sadly. Wondering Waffle says, "It was great that everyone got together to talk through this problem together as a group, instead of he said, she said. It's unfortunate what A and F is going through, but luckily the cause has been found so that it's not directed at you anymore. Your husband standing up for you is great, and I'm glad the other wives came around as well. Wait, I don't get it. She had a problem with you? Does her husband have a crush on you? Why do they talk about you that much? Did I miss something? I mean, it sounded like the husband was constantly comparing his wife to OP. While that's not OP's fault at all, I can't say I wouldn't be crappy to the person I was constantly being compared to. Also, in the quote, she wasn't crappy to OP. She only complained that she was tired of hearing about her from her husband every weekend. A totally valid complaint. Perhaps there was a bit more to what she said that OP didn't summarize though. That's always a possibility when retelling IRL convos. It's just, I wouldn't be upset at someone not wanting their husband to rant about me or compare me to his wife. I would sympathize with her for sure. Posted by user, that one piece of toast, titled, Am I the a-hole for smack-talking my friend for an hour? For context, this friend, who I'll refer to as M, is quite a horrible person, in my opinion anyway. They constantly smack-talk me and my partner online, mocking our names, life choices, how we play, and mostly, how I accuse a lot of players of hacking. I know it's stupid and I need to stop, but I'm slowly calming down and becoming a better player, hopefully. This guy also hates on my hobbies and other stupid crap. Also, we're playing Minecraft Treasure Wars on Xbox. Anyway, today M decided to steal mine and my partner's kills online. We weren't bothered, it was funny. So as a joke, we muted him and for an hour took the mick out of him. Him falling while building, him getting annoyed while losing to people, basically us joking that he's a bad gamer. The type of stuff he does to me and my partner almost every day. We didn't know he was upset because he didn't make any effort to tell us. We have Discord, so he could have messaged us on there, or even over Xbox. But nothing. We assumed he was fine with it since this is his humor anyway. Then, after around an hour of us just picking out different funny stuff he did while playing, we said stuff like, he's probably screaming like a girl since he does when he's angry, which he does. We all agreed on that. He messaged us on Discord, calling us terrible people, and saying how it wasn't funny, etc. We just said that it was a joke, since it was. He got angry, saying that it wasn't fair since he couldn't reply, and it wasn't to his face, and how us insulting him wasn't a joke. M then brought up the fact that I got angry over an old person on a Discord server that I mod, posting a skinned dog, saying that was a joke, and how it was a joke to him, so it was okay. There's a massive difference between us joking about M being a bad player and a kid posting that dog on a Pokemon Discord. He called me psychotic for doing this, and started saying how it's nothing like what he's been doing, and in the end, I came off Xbox. M has insulted me, mocked me, and even told me to die in a ditch several times before. This was the last straw for me. He insults me almost every day for the majority of the time we're on, about 6 hours a day. Am I the a-hole for smack-talking M for an hour? I think like a lot of the people down below in the comments are going to be saying, I feel like this is a clear, everyone sucks here situation, and I don't think it ever should have gotten to this point. If he's been smack-talking you this much for this long, why are you still in communication with this guy? Why are you still friends with him? Yes, it would feel good to give it all back to him without him being able to retort or say anything, but that's putting yourself on his level. And if you're fine with being an a-hole and being on his level just to get back at him, that's fine, but it makes you an a-hole in this situation too. It's quite obvious he sucks, but I think it's also obvious that you guys suck in this situation. So everyone sucks here. Pelvic Thrust Woo says, everyone sucks here. He shouldn't smack talk. Stop being friends with him. And OP replies, fair enough, and thank you for your opinion. Illustrious Complex 6 says, you're the a-hole. That wasn't smack talk, that was you being a huge gaping a-hole. Appreciate the fact you tried to convince us he was a bad person when all I see is you being a jerk. What's going to happen when your friends decide you're the next one on the chopping block? He told me to die several times. He insulted my identity. He does exactly what we did to him almost every day. But apparently when it happens to him, it's our fault. I don't understand, but thanks. I appreciate your opinion. So why didn't you include any of that above? It's kind of weird that you're just including it after we called you out on being an a-hole. I added it at the bottom, and maybe you didn't see? No worries though. Thank you very much for your opinion. Thanks for pointing that out. Still everyone sucks here. Why do toxic people pretend to be friends with each other? Dr. Ram PhD says ETA, everyone is the a-hole. You and your other friend are because you're crap-talking someone behind someone's back. If they can't hear and talk to you, it's behind their back. M is the a-hole for just being a rude person in general from the sounds of it. Two wrongs don't equal a right. Just because he's an a-hole doesn't give you the right to be one without also being an a-hole. But you made a good choice to finally stop talking to them. And OP replies, he could hear us, he was there the entire time. We muted him because it's our type of humor. He does this stuff a lot, but thank you very much for your opinion. Still, you took it too far by allowing him to hear your smack talk. Should have just left it after muting him. No need to go further than that. If you're looking for validation for what you did, it's not in this thread, sadly. The excuse of, he did it first, is not a sign of a mature adult, but your opinion matters too. And OP replies, I'm still a child. I've taken what everyone's been saying into thought, and I'm gonna try to change as a person. Thank you for your input. And now on to the update. I made the original post a couple of weeks ago, but I suppose I should post an update? In short, me and M, I think is what I called them, I can't remember, sorry, are actually okay with each other now. We sorted out the situation, we both apologized, they didn't need to, and we're actually a bit better than we were before with each other. We both have our own boundaries of joking, and if we offend each other on accident, we apologize. However, after posting my last post, I noticed something. I really was the a-hole. I realized that what I did to M was uncalled for, and even though I didn't notice at the time, what I did was bad. I'm trying to learn from what happened, and I won't do any of that type of stuff again unless I know for sure that the person is both comfortable with what they're doing, and that they know it's a joke. I won't take it as personal as last time either. Thank you to everyone who commented on my old post that gave me advice, or even made me realize I was the a-hole. I'm actually able to move on and develop as a person. I think I had some stuff going on the week that this all happened, which upset me already, but that isn't an excuse for what I did. Thank you all for reading. This may have been pointless, but I just wanted to give anyone that wanted to know an update. Stay safe and good night, everyone.